is our guy David Forst, the general manager of the Athletics. How are you?
If I knew this was like such a full body shot, I wouldn't have worn my getaway day gear.
We are all
dressed up for you.
We're all in getaway. We're going to be on a direct flight from Orlando to SFO here later on tonight. So it's all getaway
One day in Florida feels like a week. So I think we all deserve to fly home.
So I take you didn't go over to Disneyland. You didn't go to Epcot Center.
I didn't. I can see the Epcot ball from my room. That's about as close.
Have you ever been there?
Not since I was like 7 years old. We have Disneyland right in our backyard.
Correct. And I have more appreciation because you and I both grew up in Southern California. And when you grew up in Southern, you go all the time. I have more appreciation for our Disneyland, knowing how it's bigger here, but it's not as nice.
I'll take your word for it. I mean, we were at the Dolphin and Swan all those years for this meeting, and that was like right next door, and I was never tempted to go. So,
where do you want to go first? Do you want to go throwing out contract extensions? You want to go Rule 5 coming up? You want to talk about the draft of where you're picking?
Those are all things we've worked on this week. So
let's start with the draft. We need to end this hex. I don't know what Bull Durham, it was we got to kill a live chicken. Right. Do we get a bucket of chicken? I don't know what we need to do to get rid of that. Now, I will say this. I would not trade Jacob Wilson for anybody, and God knows I wouldn't trade Nick Kurtz for anybody. So whoever you're going to get at 8, there's a lot of talk about some really big-time college pitchers that have ace-like stuff, but you go into that room, are you going to get one? And you come out with 8, how does that feel?
It feels the same as it has the last few years, unfortunately. I mean, like you said, we have done the absolute most with whatever pick we've gotten, so it's hard to complain. I trust our scouting staff, and we've always sort of been creative. I said the other night the big, maybe the biggest advantage of being up near the top is the pool money that it affords you. When you have a higher slot, you're allowed to do some things later in the draft that maybe you can't do, but. Again, we'll be creative. I don't know the draft class well enough as we sit here today to tell you the difference between 2 or 5 or 8. But the math worked, I guess, the way it was supposed to last night, and here we are. We'll start preparing for number 8.
This is going to be maybe the greatest draft pick in the history of the A's, because the A's have never selected 8th ever. Draft started in 66? Never been an 8th pick in the draft.
This will be a unique pick for the A's.
The magic number 8. Now, I like to be a glass half full guy on this show.
I know you do.
So kind of looking at it, everybody has a bunch of shortstops, something with whether it's Jacob or Leo DeVries. You don't need shortstop. Around 8.
Everybody needs shortstop.
But around 8 is going to be a bunch of the elite big arm college pitchers that these guys feel have ace-like stuff. So that's where I say a blessing in disguise. You talk about getting a big-time arm sitting there at 8. Everybody goes with shortstop. And I understand you want to go shortstop because of the versatility. You can move them a lot. But if you get a big-time arm at 8.
Sure. No, look, we were excited that Jamie Arnold was there at 11 last year. We did not expect him to be there. So, it's crazy to talk about what mock drafts have now or what, because you just never know. But yeah, I mean, it opens up the field a little bit. There's a reason the top of the draft the last couple of years has been shortstop, because that's where the athletes are. That's where the best players are. But you're right. We do have a lot of depth at that particular position, and you can never have too much pitching. I think I've said that on this show once or twice.
All right. One of the, non-sexy things here is the Rule 5 draft.
Don't tell Cody.
It'll be a little bit later. Like all of a sudden, all these guys, it'll be like 1,000 people walking by, and you're like, I thought this thing was ending. Where are all these people going? It's the Rule 5 draft. Cody, do you have your pick this year for David?
Well, since I nailed Noah Murdoch last year, I had to get no credit for that. That's okay.
Did you? I can't remember. Did you have Mitch Spence the year before?
No, we did not.
I did not. No, okay. You told me I was wrong on that one, so that's fine.
So the guy you didn't have is the one who lasted all year, and the guy you picked was the one we unfortunately had to send back in May.
Well, he's on a Pirate, I believe, too. So I'm going to go with a Pirate that was a former top pick, is Anthony Salamento.
Okay.
Left-hander, throws kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think pitching has been our focus in these drafts, so it's a fair place to go. I can neither confirm nor deny that that's the guy whose name we're calling. How's that?
I think you said that last year with Noah Murdoch too. I like it. I like it.
I got to get a new line. I'm recycling apparently.
Do you get excited for the Rule 5 draft?
It's fun. It's it's something we get to spend some time on. It is a great opportunity, both for the club and the player to get a shot in big league camp and making the team. So yeah, and we've sort of detailed our history here. There's been some really good players to spend some time with the A's. So
find me another Mark Canna.
Right, that's the one we always go to. Ryan Noda had an outstanding year with us in that role. So it is a good opportunity. We have some areas where we could use some depth.
And then there's the minor league Rule 5.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Anyone who's on a AA roster or lower. So if you're Rule 5 eligible and you're protected on a AAA roster, then you have to be selected in the Major League phase. But if you're on a AA roster, there's only 38 spots on that AAA roster. So not every Rule 5 eligible guy can be protected there. If you're on a AA roster, then you get taken in the minor league Rule 5, and you're just in a new organization. There's no sort of stipulation that you have to stick at any level. I'm trying to think who we've taken in recent years.
It's just like, hey, you're with the Nationals. No, you're with the A's now.
It's kind of the way it goes. I think back in the day, like Frank Manichino was our biggest ever success story out of the minor league Rule 5 draft. But I think we'll take a few guys. Again, we have needs throughout the organization. I think our bullpens in Stockton and Lansing could use a little buffing up. So sure, we'll take some minor league Rule 5 guys. I'll see if Cody can pick out those names. That'd be impressive.
If a guy's in AA, he's not far away.
That's right. I do say that.
You do say that. The big news, and I've been saying this, and I know you said it with Martin Gallegos, and then fans go, we need to know. You're not going to tell us the names, but for our younger players, because the one thing that's still, and I think it's one of the great things about us being here and talking to everybody in baseball, because it's like, hey, listen, we're changing the narrative of the organization. People still believe like, is Vegas happening? You're like, bro, you're not looking what's going on. It's unbelievable. I cannot
believe how many questions I get from people still like, have you guys broken ground?
Yeah.
And I have like a stock photo from the live cam on my thing. I'm like, text you. Here's the picture of where it was yesterday where you can see the concourse. You can see the beams coming out of the ground. It's like agents, like people in the game are like, hey, have you guys broken ground yet? So there's nothing more we can do to put the story out there. We've put the pictures on social media. Like we've had ceremonies. So it's kind of amazing.
That's why we're here. And we talk to all these people. And then the other thing is like, well, you're going to keep your players. And it's like, did you not see Brent Rooker get extended? Did you not see Lawrence Butler? Yeah. But that takes us to where we are now. You're not going to give us the names. I understand that. But there are the young players. We have an idea who they are, who you have extended contracts to. They'd be extensions.
Yeah.
And I know it means a lot to you. It takes two to tango, as I always say. They have to, on their side, negotiate, and they got to agree to it. But you are trying to sign the young talent and get a lot of the young players inked up heading into Vegas.
We definitely are. Yeah. And look, there is it's not just a narrative. Like it's the reality of the last 25, 30 plus years that we have turned the roster over a lot. We have not extended a lot of our guys. I mean, it's been since Suzuki, Doolittle, Swisher, that was the gap between Rook and Lawrence. So I get it. I get that people see that's how we operate, but the idea is to change that, and Vegas makes that a reality. We started with Rook and Law last year. Like you said, I don't have specifics, but we've had multiple conversations since the end of the season. We have offers out there. Hopefully it's sooner than later. We started the Lawrence conversation this time last year, and it took all the way till March to get it done. So you just never know how these things move. But I'm optimistic that we're going to be able to start locking some more guys up and really be able to say like, hey, this is the team, this is the foundation of the group that is going to open that ballpark in 2028.
Yeah, so the key is offers have been made. So people need to know that the organization is reaching out and trying to lock up these guys. And we were hoping, I remember I said to you, Vegas, can we have it done by the winter meetings? But yeah, like you said, Law took all the way to March.
Yeah. No, Catherine Aker would really like us to have some press conferences to put on that shiny new sales center. So I'll keep you guys posted. We'll see when we get there.
That sales center, when I was in there, and I was thinking, it's no brainer when you're trying to sell suites and tickets and everything. But when I was in that sales center and I got in that cube and I went, this is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Have you talked about the cube?
Yeah, the cube is,
because it is remarkable, and that's what they're calling it, the cube. It's hard to describe. It is essentially this sort of virtual reality room. You don't have to have the goggles on, but you're Yeah, here, thank you, Cody.
It's like a half dome.
You feel like you're standing on the mound. I mean, to be put on the mound, to look out at the outfield, to turn around, look at the suites, get the view of the pitcher. It was really impressive. It's sort of a little like technology is amazing segment. But yeah, no, it was fun. The model, the ballpark is there. You can get that overhead shot. So it'd be hard not to walk into that sales center and think like, I want to be part of this.
So that gets to when I was there and I was going through all of that, and then we did the show. I thought this will be a great place to bring potential free agents.
Yeah, no,
right?
That's absolutely. It's a great place to bring guys who you want to extend too. Like we're gonna run our own guys through there. We play, big league weekend in March. We play the series there in June. Or I guess 2 series, a homestand. We're going to make sure the current players get a chance to look through that and go on the construction site. It is our best marketing tool. Absolutely.
No question. All right, the reliever market, we've seen a couple guys go off. Obviously, Edwin Diaz, that was going to be something I don't think you guys were part of. Finnegan is now re-signed after being traded from the Nationals to the Tigers. He's re-signed 2 years with the Tigers. Are you still out there in the reliever market?
We are. Yeah. I haven't mentioned relievers too much. I mean, when I've talked this offseason, I've talked about, wanting a starter, wanting to figure out second base and third base. But yeah, we are part of the reliever market in those discussions. It's tricky. I mean, we traded the best closer in the game and our bullpen got better. So I'm not going to sit here and I know exactly how to build a successful bullpen because it sort of goes against.
Are you now the bullpen whisperer?
Conventional thinking. I think Mark Kotsay and Emo may be the bullpen whisperers. They did an incredible job in August and September, mixing and matching, closing games with guys like Hogan Harris and Sean Newcomb and Elvis Alvarado. So I think we have a lot of confidence in the guys who are here and that we can continue to do that. Ultimately, you need depth, you need some experience. You're right. We were not going to play at the top of the market in that market in particular. So some of the guys you mentioned maybe weren't on the radar, but I'd like to add some experience, somebody who's pitched, if not the 9th inning at the back of the game, 7th, 8th to sort of help this group.
Last year when whether we were doing A's Cast Live or we were doing A's Cast on NBC, and we're like, the A's have the best bullpen in baseball right now. People are like, what?
Right.
How's that possible? It's like
I was like, what?
We would do the interviews, and I got these numbers. I'm like, hey, it's real. There was something about the mentality of everybody show up, everybody be ready to go, and everybody be ready to go more than 3 outs. Everybody took to that. Hogan Harris is now throwing 4 or 5 miles an hour faster. But just that whole using less relievers a game for more innings, the personnel really took to that. Is that something that's sustainable that you could do next year?
It's a good question. I hope so. I hope we sort of created something that can carry over. And Tyler Ferguson, Justin Sterner, like all these guys, I think really adapted well. Guys going 1+ innings is huge in today's game when you're trying to manage workloads. You're dealing with a 3-batter minimum. So I hope it is. And again, like you wouldn't have expected some of those guys to close games. Look, it is easier for Mark and Emo to sort of script out the game when you have a capital C closer back there. There's no doubt about it. But there are always days that guy's not available anyways, so you have to be flexible. And it's important the way we're developing pitchers, the way we're asking guys in AAA to go multiple innings, that they can do that and jump in as soon as we get to the big leagues.
Is it they're all former starters, so you're just kind of like rebooting them and like, hey, remember when you used to go more than 1 inning? I mean, do you kind of like reboot them a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's quite that simple, but yeah, I mean, you find a lot of the guys in the pen now are guys that came up as starters the same way a lot of the guys around the diamond are former shortstops. I think you have a similar dynamic in the bullpen.
All right, going out in the starting pitching market.
Ooh, it's dangerous.
Yeah,
it's not expensive. It's not cheap either.
It's not cheap. Well, one of the things, and one of my talking points has been, we have seen well over 20 trades now. In the past couple of years when we would talk to you here at the winter meetings, it was like everybody, their prospect capital meant so much that they rather go out and just spend in free agency because you don't have to give up a prospect. But now it seems like free agency, there's like sticker shock there that they're now guys rather trade, need for need or even trade prospects because it's expensive out there. But to me, it's like find somebody that can give you innings.
Right.
But that's expensive.
It is. Yeah. Look, that's always a trade-off, spending the money in the free agent market versus, having to give up prospects to bring talent in. I mean, we did both last year. We signed Sevy to the big free agent deal, and then we brought in Springs via trade, had to trade a couple prospects, give up a competitive balance pick. I feel really good about both those deals right now because we're sitting here with a couple experienced guys at the top of our rotation, both of whom pitched really well down the stretch. I think, our entire pitching staff's struggles were documented in the early part of the season, and whatever it was, guys in new places, the whole team in a new building, whatever it was, I'm really impressed with how we turned the page come June and July. And Marcus talked about it a lot. Like, this building, this ballpark, whatever you want to say, it's not a factor going forward. We don't have to deal with that anymore in April. And we just get to go out there and play. And when it comes to the pitching staff, like, guys know what it's like to pitch in Sacramento. We had a period where we pitched away from contact, and clearly it hurt us. Our defense is going to be improved. We got a Gold Glove finalist now in left field starting opening day. Keep Denzel healthy, and get him out
and
there.
happy. We
Sure.
want everybody to be happy.
Denzel's always happy. That's the thing. I don't have to work at that. God, talk about the happiest guy in the building. Keep Denzel healthy. And that.
How do you do that?
Staff. I don't know, man.
He's a track guy.
I mean, we're going to lose control of him for a couple of weeks when he goes to roam center field for Canada. So I'm going to have to just keep my fingers crossed on that.
Just put him in bubble wrap.
But no, I would love to add innings, add experience to the rotation. We've sort of dipped our toe in right now. We're part of some conversations, both free agency and trade. We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I got a list of guys that you start looking at starters. There's still some pretty good guys out there that for trade. There's some big names out there for trade. There's some guys who have very favorable contracts that are out there for trade.
Yeah, those guys cost a lot in prospects.
They cost a lot.
Yeah, and we have good young players, but I like holding on to good young players. So it's a little push.
Well, then
and
that's
pull.
the dance of, you win. You want to win now, but yet you want those young players for when you go to Vegas.
For sure. That is a tough balance right now. Like, we have a team that if you make the right moves, this team's ready to compete. We obviously made the jump to 76 wins. Like, you're not that far off from 500 and being in a wild card race. Mark certainly deserves a roster that can compete. But over here, you've got 2028 and thinking like, hey, that's when this thing really explodes. When you're in that ballpark, when revenue streams start, when you've got a different, sort of model of operating, and you've got a payroll that really is in the middle tier, allows you to compete.
Would it be easier maybe to get a reliever through trade because they cost less when it comes to prospects?
Yeah, that might be the case. I don't know. Like, nobody's giving up pitching without a fight right now. Like, everybody this time of year is looking at their 40-man roster, looking at their depth, and thinking, we got to hold on to whatever pitching we have.
I mean, seriously, everybody. There's 30 teams. We used over 800 pitchers in baseball for the third straight years. Everybody needs pitching. So when you look at the meetings, kind of take us through. Like, people think, oh, the A's haven't done anything, or some teams haven't done anything. Yeah. But what you're meeting with teams about now, but would you say you're also planting seeds for the future, whether it's for the start of the season or maybe even seeds that you're looking to grow come the trading deadline?
Yeah, I think that all that's true. I mean, the reality of this time of year is that everybody is trying to do 3 or 4 things at once and is juggling a lot of balls. So, for instance, I've talked a lot about, trying to figure out second base and third base. If we're looking outside the organization at that spot, I'm not just talking to one agent about his second baseman or to one team about that. Like, you have to have multiple conversations at the same time. There, some of them are going to die off. Some pitcher that you talked about is going to sign elsewhere and you have to move on. So everybody right now has 4 or 5 conversations going for every spot they need to fill. On the outside, it probably looks like not much is happening. That said, like, I talked to a national writer yesterday at about 11 a.m. who said, how come nothing's happening? And like 30 minutes later, Schwarber and Diaz both signed. Yeah. Like, that the perception that nothing is happening gets shattered really quickly when something like that happens. So, I don't know that I'm going to make news before I get in an Uber to SFO or to the airport to fly back home, but it's not because we haven't met with teams or met with agents or had a lot of internal discussions while we're here.
All right. So when you talk to another GM, and I know the assistants talk to each other, you did that for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. When you talk to another team, do you specifically go right into talking about this is our need. This is what we think you have. And they do the same with you, right? They've been looking over your 40-man or your minor league system.
Those conversations probably already happened before we got here, maybe even before we got to the GM meetings. October is filled with a lot of like phone calls. That is, hey, what are you guys looking to do? Here's what we're looking to do, yada, yada. There's a little small talk too. You have to kind of grease the skids a little. But once you're here, everybody knows where you're at, and you say, okay, let's focus on player A. What can we do for that? And a lot of that stuff, it happens sometimes in person. It happens even here by phone because you're in the same place. I think MLB Network had a shot of me and Chaim Bloom standing off to the side of their set the other day, and we started talking, and Chaim said, let's not give the lip readers too much right now. So I bump into people in the halls, pull them aside and say, hey, just following up on so-and-so, like make sure you keep us in mind. So that stuff's happening all the time.
And relationships matter, right? Guys that like we always joke about how you and AJ Preller played hoops against each other for so long. Just the relationships. Do you fall on relationships? Guys that you can get deals done with, or you specifically say, all right, I may not really know this guy all that well, but he's got a reliever or a.
Yeah, I mean that has to happen ultimately, and you have to deal with all 29 other teams. But there are conversations that are easier than others. There are numbers I more quickly dial when we have. So, you've sort of seen some of our patterns over the years. Billy had guys that he dealt with frequently. I've inherited some of those relationships. I've got my own. So they're GMs I'll talk to 3 or 4 times in the offseason. They're guys I just make one call and say, hey, let me know if you need anything.
How is old William Bean these days?
He's in my ear constantly. So Billy's been great. He's an outstanding sounding board for me, for Kotz. He stays on top of everything, whether it's a negotiation I'm having or help on a relationship. Like he's always available for us. It's really
how nice is it to have somebody? I mean, I wish I had somebody. I don't have anybody. I got to make it all up. I look at Cody, and Cody looks at me and goes, "Take the Pirates guy." Yeah. How nice is it to have somebody like that who's been there and done that? And
that's a relationship I've had now for better part of 3 decades, and it's invaluable to me. I joke with him that his official title, I think, is advisor to the managing partner.
Yeah,
but you look at my phone log and you'll see who he's really advising.
Do people still call you thinking you're wanting to move players?
We still get a little bit of that. Yeah, I mean, look, it anytime somebody wants your guys, that's a compliment. And like you said, you hear the chatter around the game, like this is a coveted group, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So guys certainly are interested in our players. I think it's a lot easier to shut down a conversation now and say like, no, we're not talking about that guy.
I had a trade proposed. It was a Phillies trade for Luis Severino. And I said, hey, I like the players you're bringing up. Who is it, Stott or Bohm? Who are they bringing in?
Well, say that again. Sorry.
Who was the Phillies trade that Himbo had for us?
It was Bohm.
Bohm.
Yeah.
And I was like, you got to tell me how you replace Sevy's innings. I understand the stuff that went on with Sevy last year, but Severino's got to give us a lot of. We need innings.
Absolutely, and quality too. Sevy's going to pitch better. Like I said, after he got over that little hump. Last year in the early part of the year, he pitched great. So look, any trade conversation, that's the internal conversation. Like, okay, if we're moving one guy to fill another spot, like how do we backfill? Like, what are you going to do? Whether it's a pitcher or position player, like those are at bats, those are innings, whatever it is, like you gotta fill out the 26 man.
So this will be the last time we talk to you in 2025. So when we're heading to spring training, we know Lawrence had a procedure done. When we look health-wise, is everybody going to be good for spring training? Is anybody going to be limited?
I think we're in a good place right now. Zach Geloff's probably the only guy who's going to be a little bit behind. Zach had that shoulder surgery after getting re-injured in the last week of the year, but Lawrence is doing great with his rehab. Brett Harris had a little procedure on his thumb that had bothered him throughout the season. He should be fine. But knock on wood, we're in a good place medically right now.
I wish we could get Zach Geloff going. I love the kid.
Yeah.
Super athletic. He's got size. He's got speed. He's got power. Everybody loves him in the organization.
Yeah.
How do you get him going again?
Yeah, I think we need to get him back to where he was, that 2-month stretch in 23. And, I talk a lot about figuring out that position. Zach is still absolutely a factor, and obviously the shoulder injury sets him back a little bit when it comes to whether making the opening day roster or kind of figuring things out in the spring. But there's so much talent with this guy. We got to figure it out, like you said.
All right, the number one question I've been waiting to ask you: have you talked to the wife?
To my wife?
Your wife?
Many times. Yeah. What do you need?
About
Hawaii.
About Hawaii.
I would love to support the Cal Bears in the Hawaii Bowl. I don't.
You're an island away.
I don't think we're going to interrupt our family vacation to do it, unfortunately.
Tell her you'll only be gone for like 48 hours. We'll play golf. We'll go to the game. I don't think you can swing that?
I was working on 24 hours, and I don't think I'm getting that. So, no, we'll be watching Christmas Eve. I know the Bears are going to play well, and we got out to a game earlier this season. It's a lot of fun to support them, but probably not in Hawaii.
What do you think that conversation would be like? Going, you know what? I got an idea.
Well, you're right. You're right to think that I maybe haven't really gone down that road.
Yeah.
Because we're looking forward to being in Kauai for a week and not interrupting it.
Well, happy holidays.
Same to you guys.
Who knows when we'll talk to you next?
Let's try and make some news that's worthy of an A's Cast special.
Well, we always appreciate your time.
Thanks,
it means
guys.
a lot to
Good
us.
to see you.
We'll see you on the flight.
All right.